Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Britton's Hangout Hour episode. I've given up at this point. And Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen, and others. I'm here today with Josh Pantalleresco. How you doing, man?
It's been a crazy month. Right now, I realize I need to get myself some razors to finish mopping this up on my face. I'm putting together a podcast course, and I'm doing some more filming tonight. So that's been the plan the last month. Just kind of reevaluate some stuff, and yeah, next year's going to be really interesting. So.
Yes, you said you're going to be going on your wanderlust next year.
Oh, it's gonna happen. I'm so. Long story short, November I had a contract fall through. Now I was thinking about pivoting on some things anyway, but that contract really was like, okay, you got to push now. So it's December. It's kind of the worst month, so it's kind of been an exercise in patience. But I also got a lot of good things. Kind of in the fire. Yesterday, I met somebody about something else I'm working on. So we're gonna see. But basically, at this point, I have a very simple mission going into the new year. And once I achieve that mission, I'm pretty much going to disappear.
Very nice. Or, well, I don't know if that's very nice, but,
It is nice. No, it's man. Listen, I mean the one thing I've learned in like you got to be happy where you are. And if you're not happy where you are, you got to make change. You have a decision. Do you accept it or do you not? Like that's the whole thing. Like are you willing to make the changes necessary to be different if that's the case? And if you're not ready to do that, like I think one of the things that I just no longer have the patience. I get people have to sometimes vent about problems sometimes, and that's good. But what I'm much more interested in is what are you doing about it? What are you trying to do about it?
Oh, dear.
Right? Yeah. So, if you're not really making any changes, or if you're happy with if you have settled into your life circumstances, you got comfortable with it, then I don't really want to hear you bitch about it anymore. It's just kind of like how that's it. Like if you're not going to fix it, or if you've accepted it, there's no point to complain about it anymore. Again, we all need events sometimes. I get that, but at the same time, I'm not getting any younger, so that's
Fair
just how
enough.
that's how I'm looking at it. So I'm going. I woke up this morning and I saw a friend of mine post a political meme, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? This is exactly what I'm trying to avoid now in my life. Like that shit.
Fair enough, fair enough. Man, 2023 has been a year so far. Well, not so far. We're about towards the end of it, but yeah, it's been a year.
What are you proud of that you've accomplished?
Most proud of I wrote a novel this year.
You did.
I finally I got up and I did it.
Yes, you did. I was
I went to
very,
my
very proud.
parents. I'm like, look, mom and dad, I did it, and they're like, oh wow. So yeah.
Very cool. So they were proud of you.
Yes, they were very proud.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah, my yeah, you actually looked over my draft, so as a
Oh, I did. It was,
are you,
dude,
are you going to
man.
use that old word to that old are you just gonna say interesting? Is that what you're gonna
No,
say?
I, I can't. Okay, so folks, we're gonna get into a little bit bows. This was his first novel. I knew it, and I know what the first novel's like for everybody that does it the first time. So I got what I expected, and, and he's laughing. There was so after I finished editing his novel, I gave him an hour long meeting after that to tell him that he is not allowed to use certain things ever again in his book.
Yeah.
right?
All those sighs. I didn't even realize like how often I'd used it until you pointed it out. I'm like, oh shit, I did say that a lot, didn't I? Just, like,
There's one particular scene. It's in the like towards the like back half of the book that you actually sped up the tension so well. Then he did all 3 of your worst habits in the same sentence, all of them, and it was just like, my God, right? My God, all right. Not only did you take me out, you took me out of it. Like, yeah. So I knew, like, we all have habits we have to break. I knew that was it, but also, what I wished I had when I started writing a novel was someone could actually give me the point. Okay, what are you actually trying to do here?
Mm-hmm.
And show you what to look for, so that when you do future drafts, one, I'll never see that again, and two, you have a better idea what you're trying to convey, and you're getting more out of your head faster, and trusting your gut a little bit more about what you're trying to emphasize. Like, it's hard to put your feelings on the page, and to actually have good art, you have to be willing to put yourself out there, and it's really easy to get stuck in your head. And usually that first novel is you're stuck in your head a lot, and you got to figure out what you're doing.
That's funny you mention that, because I didn't really get stuck too much in my head during.
Yes, you did.
Well, maybe a little bit, but like
No.
I've noticed it more since I've been working on this new project, because I'm like, because I'm trying to be more like, I don't know, I'm paying attention more to my prose, so I don't make more like cliches or whatever that I use.
Well, it's not the cliches. It's okay. So the art form of writing, ladies and gentlemen, is I want to try to convey an image to you with words, so you feel something.
Yeah.
That's the objective. So I'm not going to try to tell you what to feel. I'm going to try to show you what I feel. Which is why one of my least favorite words, and this just as an editor, is felt. Because you're telling the audience what to feel. Uh-huh. You're not showing them what's going on. You're telling them. You don't. You can use show and tell. We've had so one of Britton's favorite characters, ladies and gentlemen, is Snape. He'll deny this emphatically, but it's one of his favorite characters.
He's somebody. I'll put it that
way.
Yeah,
he's somebody, right?
Here's interesting because like he's probably the character I'm most fascinated in with Harry Potter, because I've talked about him a lot. I've noticed I talk about him a lot. But at the same time, I probably wouldn't associate with him in real life.
But the thing is, here's why. She inverted show and tell on purpose. Dumbledore told you Snape was good. But what you saw of him left you very ambiguous. It felt disingenuous.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to rely on Dumbledore's word. Dumbledore told you he was good. You actually didn't know. There was nothing. There was very little. She left clues if you wanted to see them, but you had to look at them honestly. And the thing is, she was very deliberately ambiguous with his morality. Mm-hmm. You didn't actually see him be kind or empathetic or something that would make you naturally want to connect with you. In fact, she did as much as she could to the opposite. An inverse show and tell. The only reason you gave him the benefit of the doubt if you gave it to him earlier on was because Dumbledore trusted him.
Mm-hmm.
What Dumbledore didn't tell you was why he trusted him. You didn't see any of that stuff.
Also, Dumbledore made a promise, and well,
no. That's no. It's not that. No, I think my favorite thing was, my favorite scene with Snape with Dumbledore is actually when he showed Dumbledore's mark. It was right at the end. Showed Dumbledore's mark, and they ran, and it's like, are you? And it's like, and I'm not. It goes, and Dumbledore gives him the biggest compliment he ever gave Snape. Right there. He goes, I sometimes think we saw it too soon. Because, right? That's my favorite scene because that is Snape in a nutshell right there. That part. Incredibly brave man. Whether you like him or you don't, you can't deny it. And
he has balls of steel for sure.
That's right. That's right. He is almost, maybe Harry is the only other character as brave as he is. Maybe. And that's a maybe. Right? That's it. Right? He's the bravest character in the book. But you didn't see it until the very end. And that was divided on. I was on purpose. That is an example, ladies and gentlemen, where show and tell can be inverted and work wonders. Most of the time, you show and you don't tell.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Yeah, it's interesting how that works because like Snape's like this kind of gangly, doesn't really look after himself, huge jackass to everybody. And if I remember, she says he smells bad, but that could just be, that could just
that's you. That's you.
Or maybe that's just a stereotype. I don't know. But
yeah.
Then she flips the switch. He was on the side
totally
of the angels the whole time. You've been bamboozled by
He didn't bamboozle you. That's the whole thing. That wasn't a bamboozle.
It wasn't?
No.
Felt like a bamboozle.
Why? She told, Dumbledore told you from the very beginning. He was a good guy. Told you it. If you felt you didn't feel empathy towards him because she deliberately kept any ability to connect with him distant. She made him look like a jerk on purpose sometimes. Right? And again, he wasn't perfect. I'm not going to say that. But the thing is, no, there's no bamboozle. You read it and you didn't want it to sink in. That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth, right? She didn't fool you. She didn't bamboozle you. You just didn't like it.
Well, I guess a better way to say it is it felt like I got bamboozled.
But why? Again, there's nothing. There's nothing in there to indicate. Again, she told you straight up who he was. But this is why show and tell is important.
Mm.
The reason you felt bamboo. This is the bamboozle part. Okay. You didn't get a chance to connect with him. Really. You didn't.
Well, maybe until the Prince's Tale.
No, even then you really didn't. Like you never really got to. You got to see glimpses of who he was. You got to see glimpses of it here and there. Sometimes, I was rooting for Snape when he challenged Gilderoy Lockhart. I was on Team Snape all the way at that point in the book.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I think Igor Karkaroff is just awful.
Yes. Well, no, I'm just saying, like Mr. Gilderoy, like the Gilderoy duel was.
Oh yeah.
I was cheering for Snape.
That was one of the few times I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, no, you knew it, right? And then as my host has disappeared, he's back like a magician. But
I had to let my cat out because she's.
Yep. So, anyways. So there's book 3, Prisoner of Azkaban is Snape being the biggest jerk possible. That's the one. He's the absolute unequivocally the biggest jerk. Right.
That is my. It's funny. You've seen the movies as well as read the books?
Yeah, I've read them all. Yeah.
Wait, did you see the movies though?
I've seen the movies. Yes.
Okay.
I like the books more, but I like.
Oh yeah. No, I get you. But it's kind of funny that Prisoner of Azkaban, the movie and the book, are my favorite of the Harry Potter. I don't know.
No, it's not. Well, it's not a surprise. It's arguably Harry's best moment in the entire series.
I don't know. The movie I can say
no. It's his best moment. I'll tell you why. Because it's so easy to relate to him in this one because his parents' death is a huge sore spot to him. And at the
Mm-hmm.
very beginning of the book, right, the Dursleys pick on him because of his mom and his dad, and he loses his cool. He loses it. Like
Yeah.
he
He's
loses his
tired of
shit.
dealing with everyone's shit. It's great.
Well, no, he lost
That
it.
and
He turned
Order
like
of the
he's
Phoenix, like that's Harry just done with
no,
everyone.
no. Order of the
love
Phoenix. No.
Love it.
Stay on the topic. Not Order of the Phoenix is Harry's worst moment. He's a bitch, but that's a different one.
Bitch.
But again, understandable. But this one is Harry, I think, at his most adult because you knowing this weakness throughout the book. Okay, he deals with there's an enemy he deals with that pretty much feeds off his trauma. Essentially, that's what the Dementors are. His Dementors are his kryptonite for most of the book, of it. Right. And then on top of that, okay, the guy responsible for his parents' death,
Or so he thinks.
Discovered. No. Peter Pettigrew is in the book.
Oh yeah, he's Scabbers. That's right.
That's right.
He's been in the last 3 books, as a matter of fact.
No. Again, focus
Sorry.
on the book.
Sorry.
Focus on the book. You want to know why this is your favorite? I'm trying to explain it to you.
Sorry.
So he gets the opportunity. Lupin and Black find that their friend has betrayed him, and they want to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Harry is now facing his killer. The guy responsible for his parents being outed is right here. And what does Harry do? He lets him go.
Well,
he lets him. He lets him go.
He lets him live.
But that's huge. That's huge.
He was gonna give him to the Dementors, though.
No. He wanted him to face justice. He didn't want revenge. That's an incredibly adult moment. That is arguably the most noble thing Harry does in the entire series.
Yeah, and also it showcases his difference from Snape, though. We've kind of gone back and forth.
No. We're not.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
This has nothing. No. This has nothing to do with Snape. This again, focus on the book.
Sorry.
It's about Harry. You want to see growth? You see from the very first part of the book an open weakness. He confronts it courageously and better than most adults would do. I would dare to say that might be the most heroic moment in the entire series.
To quote Sirius, it's far more than he deserved. And I mean, if you know me, if you don't mind me piling on the Peter Pettigrew hate real quick, fucking despise Peter Pettigrew. Oh my god, I can't even Snape. At least Snape has some redeeming parts to him. Pettigrew, nothing. And you know what the part is? I almost pity him, but at the same time, hold on, let me finish. But at the same time, I know he 100% deserves all of the horrible things that happen. I didn't even feel bad when he got choked to death by his seal. That. Ugh, I hate Peter Pettigrew. I absolutely despise him. He might be my most despised character in the series.
Oh, he might be the most despicable character in the entire series. Honestly, might be. Right.
But now you can. What were we gonna say?
but all that proves my point. What Harry did. Okay, think about this. Harry has more of a reason to hate that man than anybody, and no one would blame him for it. No one. Right? And yet, what did he choose to do? Let the guy live. He had the opportunity to kill him, and no one would. No. I didn't. Again, you had that. No.
I mean, that I'll tell you why Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite. It's that gut-wrenching ending when he gets away, and it was one of those. It was so close, but it just wasn't meant to be, and Harry just gets fucked again by fate.
No, he doesn't. he got a lot out. He got an uncle. He got an uncle he didn't know he had. Family he didn't know he had. Everything kind of balanced itself out. Everybody kind of got a happy ending thanks to that time turner. That was a little bit of a cheat, but that's still a very, very, very clever one. All right. Again, hinted at throughout the series that they actually gave her they actually gave Hermione a time travel device, which is really, really, really fun. That was a fun little like wrinkle in the book. But and pun was intended there for anyone that got that. That is probably the most adult, like that is everything YA fiction should be. You put kids growing up into adult situations where adults themselves would struggle. And he not only made the correct choice, right? He made arguably the most heroic choice and arguably his most heroic decision in the entire series. That book is amazing. It is the best of all the Harry Potter books for that reason. It's Harry is
my favorite.
A true. Well, it's why it's most people's favorite. It does from a character development standpoint, it is probably the most concise and perfect character development in Harry in the entire series. Order of the Phoenix, he's whiny, and because he's isolated and he feels abandoned, he's kind of want to know why he's going through the whiny teenage shit. That was book 5. Book 6 is fun. Book 6 is a lot of fun, and I do enjoy the conclusion of the series.
Oh, I was about to say, I enjoyed the Voldemort backstory stuff. I wish they put that more in the movie, but oh well.
Well, again, it was because this was because it wasn't. The last 2 books in the series are about the Voldemort. Mm-hmm. Snape to a lesser extent Snape, but also Dumbledore and how you perceived him. Right?
Kind of like a 4-way dance between Harry, Voldemort, Snape, and Dumbledore.
No, it's not really a 4-way dance. It's like Snape's part is really book 6. Book 7 is really about. Book 7 is about, okay, Harry, you've grown up. Who do you want to be? But before you make your decision, maybe you should learn about who Dumbledore was. Because you had this idea of who he was when it started, and then how it ended, and then how it ended. And it's a very, very, very it's a very unexpected, but it's also a humanized Dumbledore in a way that you wouldn't have seen otherwise, right? That was what, like, the last book almost breaks the formula of the Harry Potter novels, almost completely, because it eliminates the school element to it, although it still has the fall, winter, spring, summer, like, arc of the books where the crisis, there's the darkest moments, which are always in the winter of the book. The spring, which is the climax of everything, and the summer for the new hope for the future. That's still there, but it's very much, but it's different because it's not really the fight against Tom Riddle, aka Voldemort, aka He Who Must Not Be Named, is more about how you see yourself.
I like how Harry basically, like, in the movie it's more like a climactic duel, but in the book I like how Harry just basically calls out Voldemort in front of everybody, and Voldemort's like, and then he gets killed. He just,
Well, no, it just he came at Voldemort in a way Voldemort didn't expect. You want to talk about possibly the most.
That's all I'll say. For the fucking
it wasn't. What? No, I thought the approach. One of the things that I really enjoyed about Rowling, and this is throughout that series, is he always called he who must not be named was what everybody described him. They were all afraid of him. At the very beginning, Dumbledore told him, always call him Voldemort. Always. And the reason why is if you actually can identify the more specific you are, and this is true in life as well, the more specific you are when you look at your fears, the more you can understand them and control them. That doesn't mean you win every battle, but you have a clear idea. The vaguer something is in your head, the harder it is to fight, and the more you are afraid of it. The more you know, the more you're armed yourself to do something with it. So by giving him a name, it kept Voldemort human. And when Harry fought him at the end of the series, he didn't fight him as a student looking at this big scary man anymore. He fought him man to man. They were two grown men looking at each other across the room. He was not afraid of him. And Voldemort did not know how to deal with that. He was so used to everybody around him being afraid of him.
Yes, he calls him Tom, just like Dumbledore did.
Yeah, of course.
Signifying that I'm not scared of you no more.
Not scared of you.
Which is why I said he went for the throat, because he basically took away what made Voldemort so fearsome and just made him another ordinary man.
Well, yeah, that was it. Again, the more specific you are, the clearer it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point, and that was good, and that was set up. That everything was set up. Everything was set up from the very beginning, and I think my favorite part of the whole series was, again, then Harry gets all this power, and he gives it all up, all of it, and because that's what I hear. What good is power if you have no intention of using it? It's worthless. And so he lets it go.
Hopefully he doesn't get disarmed in the future.
Well, of course inevitably he will. No one's undefeated. No one one's undefeated. No one stays undefeated forever and ever and ever.
Well, I know he puts the Elder Wand, and I don't want anyone disarming him and going like, "Hee, I can take it for myself."
Yeah, but again, if she ever wanted to go back into the world, there's a way to do it. But also, I mean, that's the whole point. It doesn't matter how big and powerful you become. There's always sooner or later something's going to come along and knock you on your ass.
Yeah, so I remember we talked about Voldemort a while back, and you basically said he was the ultimate coward. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Yeah. And you said something to the effect of, well, what does it say of a man who's so afraid of living life, or something like that? I don't remember. It was I really liked that line, but I can't remember it at the moment.
Well, because he wanted to be. He's a man that was afraid of death. Who wants a? I mean, I guess if you like that, right? But I mean, when it comes right down to it, like who if you are a person afraid to die, you're a person afraid to live, at least a little bit. If you let that fear rule your life, you will shut yourself away. Like Voldemort wanted to live forever. He was afraid of death. It terrified him, right? Mm-hmm. It terrified him completely, and he destroyed his humanity. He destroyed it completely to become this thing
to begin with.
Oh, he had. Oh no, he had it. That's what makes his story a tragedy. When he no. See, you can't have it both ways. You don't become the mustache twirling villain right away. You have to work at it. Now, that all said,
does Dumbledore's quote about choices mean anything to you, Josh?
But that's the thing. You have to give it away to lose it. My favorite villain in all of science fiction is Gul Dukat. Do you know who that is?
I'm not sure if I know who that is.
Did you ever see Star Trek Deep Space Nine?
Oh yes, that's right. Yes, I have. It's actually my favorite Star Trek show. I just haven't seen it in a long time.
Dukat's the best villain I've ever seen on television.
Wow.
Do you know why?
Well, why?
Do you know why?
Feel free to tell us.
Well, no. You first. Why do you think I think that?
Well, I don't know. There's something about him that really appeals to you.
No, he is the most terrifying kind of villain you'll ever see because you'll like him. When you see it, you like him. I'll tell you, okay. He talks again. When you watch the show from beginning to end, he's in the very first episode of the series. Talks about how much he misses his office. But you get to know him as a series villain. He doesn't seem like such a bad guy. He doesn't seem terrible. I mean, he cracks jokes. He has a sense of humor. He has a bit of a weakness when it comes to women, but you can kind of understand that to some degree. And he was in charge of it, but in the background, while you get this information, they still use Bajor in the background. Like his occupation was a shithole. I mean, he was killing Bajorans by overworking them. He was essentially raping their women, right? He was. I mean, that's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. I mean, there's a story about basically when this happens later.
If I remember, doesn't he go like? Doesn't he go like? Oh man, they're not even like. At least I didn't kill any of them, and they're just like, what the fuck? Like
no.
So beyond the point.
Said no. He hated them, but the thing was, he tried to be better than his predecessor. Now, again, in all fairness to him, you don't know. You don't know. But essentially, he murdered. He enslaved the population. He murdered at will. He overworked them. He gave them terrible working conditions, period. That the Bajorans eventually fought for the freedom for, which is incredibly admirable. And he hated them for it. So when his daughter dies, and he goes absolutely off the wall. This is, by the way, folks, this is 6 seasons of television. Just what I'm describing here.
Yeah.
Right. I'm describing 6 seasons. You don't see all of this overnight. And again, by and large, you can root for the guy to some degree. You will. There are moments in the series you will root for him. But then he loses his fucking mind after Ziel dies. And then him and Cisco go on the shuttlecraft together.
Oh man, I love Cisco. Underrated,
Cisco's
man.
No, he's an excellent actor. Great. DS9 has the best cast top to bottom. I'm including all the guest stars.
Underrated Starfleet captain. Everyone's like, oh, Picard, oh, Shatner. I love Cisco.
I know. I understand why. But okay, focus. Right.
Sorry.
We can talk about that in a minute. But then the big reveal is, so they when Ducat and Cisco are on the are stranded on the shuttlecraft, right? Or not stranded. They crash land on this planet. And they're stuck together. Then the writers do something fantastic. You get to see Ducat truly as he is, as villainous, because he thought he was better than the Bajorans and that he should rule them and that he was superior to them. Now after that, it becomes a little bit more, again. Then you got the journey to the mustache twirl is complete. He's a little bit more one-dimensional from that point on. But it's because the mask is gone. He was that villain all along. He never was not that guy. And that's what made him so terrifying. It wasn't that he was a villain. It was that he was a villain that was done so convincingly that there is a group of people that still don't think he's a villain today.
Oh, yeah, him right here? This guy?
Yeah, Gul Dukat.
Oh, yeah, okay. I forgot what he looked like. Again, it's been a long time since I saw Deep Space Nine. I need to watch it again, damn it.
Yeah, so season 6, so ladies and gentlemen, season 6 of Deep Space Nine might be some of the best sci-fi writing on television you'll ever see. It's up there. It's one of my all-time favorites. And I watched that and Babylon 5 when they were both on at the same time. And I'm telling you, this and season 4 of Babylon 5 are 2 of the best seasons of television you'll ever watch. And that whole reveal is in this season, and it's phenomenal. Again, very long-term writing, like incredibly good long-term planning with the character. And that's why he's so terrifying, because he wasn't just he was the biggest, most terrifying kind of monster, the kind of monster Hitler was, right? That's what he was, and they did such a wonderful job of portraying what that actually is.
You mean just by the force of like his charisma, that he could just, even though the stuff that Hitler was selling was completely nonsense, but because of just his sheer force of personality, like, he convinced him to believe it anyway.
Okay, Germany, like, people forget what Germany's like. Like, I truly think, even to I'm convinced of this since the pandemic for sure. I think people today would go along with that dictator like that easily today, because I don't think that people really understand what that actually is. Though especially up here for sure, I could see it. Down in the States, in some states, I absolutely could see it too. It wasn't that they were selling something bad. He was selling, but he appealed to what made, again, Ducat's not like, he doesn't come across like a monster when you first meet him. He is a bit of one. He's a bit ruthless, but that world is ruthless, kind of ruthless too. So you can see the justifications.
You know who that reminds me of?
Mm-hmm.
The Will from Saga, aka my favorite character from Saga.
He's not even close to that.
I had to throw that in because I caught
No. You liked, again. Okay? So we're gonna mention a couple things here. We're gonna go with you, Snape, the Will. What's your fascination with both of those characters?
It's kind of weird because, like, the Will is almost like a stereotype when you first think. He's almost like a Boba Fett-like character, where he's just like, I'm just a simple man going through the galaxy. I got my little lance. I got my little fucking cape. I got this fucking man cat here that says lion.
But okay, so that's not Boba Fett. That's like one of those like meme guys, like Monstar. I can't remember what they are. Homestar Runner. You got this Homestar Runner thing going with the Will right now. I don't think that's.
I do think it's hilarious in Saga when the brand explains, like, no, that cape isn't like a thing. He just liked this show when he was a kid and he bought it with his first paycheck.
Sure.
Just think that's funny. It's just like, man,
it's human. It's human.
Funny.
It's so human. Right?
It's just, oh man, it still gets me when she's like, oh yeah, it's just some TV show he liked when he was a kid.
Yeah, but that's okay, but that's human, right?
That's I just think human. It's funny, he's like this, fearsome, like, Hazel talks about him like if he's the devil himself and he's just some guy. But why do I like the Will? He's just a broken mess. Yeah, and it's hard not to feel bad. Even though, here's the thing that blows me away about Saga. Hazel told you what he would do. She said he would. She said plainly what he would do. She said,
I don't look at the Will the same way you do.
Well, hold on. Let me explain myself.
Okay.
Let me explain myself. She says he's a fucking monster in the first couple of issues. She says if my father knew what would happen to him, he would have stayed in those caves. She says when he wakes up from the coma he was in that they didn't know what horror they had unleashed, but my parents would find out. And we still felt for him, and we still wanted him to do better than he was doing. And then it happens, and you're like, fuck! I hate you, Brian K. Vaughan.
See, I never expected more out of the Will. I knew exactly what he was when I saw him.
What do you mean?
He was never going to go down the path of redemption. That's not the path he's going to walk. He's going into oblivion. That has always been that's his final destination. Right? I mean, he is going to die at the end of somebody's gun. I'm not sure who. Could be Hazel. Could be Alana. Right? Could be someone else.
I will give it to
It
Marco.
actually,
Like, yo, he beat the will. I'm like, hey, not bad. And then he gets stabbed.
but
Like, fuck.
no. It's like straight up, right? He was always going to go down the path of oblivion. There was he no because he kept, there was no other way for him to go.
I don't know.
Well, okay, so what does his path of redemption look like?
I don't. Well, that's the thing. I don't know if he'll go down a path of redemption, but like, there's that sense, like deep down, he doesn't really want to be a killer.
But he's still killing.
Well, it's because it's all he knows.
So he can change anytime he wants to. That's life. That's the thing about life. Right? You can change if you choose to. It's hard, but you can choose to change anytime you wish. He doesn't. He doesn't really want to change.
Well, why does it feel so bad when he does do what he does? Which, you know,
we're probably bad.
We're probably gonna spoil the shit out of Saga here. So if you haven't read Saga, just like skip past this part of the video. But yeah, I was texting Josh when I read that part. I'm like, oh fuck. You know, I was like, ah. You know, I was basically, it was the delayed reaction that everyone else had like 3 years previously when I read it.
He ended it that way right before the fucking pandemic. It was like, oh shit, it's gonna be wild before I read what happens next. But that's my point. But that's my point, bro. Like, it was always everything he does feels bad because it's terrible what he does.
Well, I know it's terrible, but like I feel sorry for him and I want him to do better, and then he fucking kills Marco.
Why? Why do you want him to do better?
Because he could do better. Anyone can.
Sure. But why do you feel for him?
I don't know. Well, like, you know what? Maybe I do know, but like, it's kind of. I should note before we get into the kind of weird, the psychoanalysis here. I do think it was a brilliant choice by Brian K. Vaughan that he told you what the will was, and he shows you this other part of him that you can tell even though he is this ruthless killer, he's also just a broken person who he's so lost emotionally. And you're like, man, like, you could do better. Like, come on, like, anybody can. Like, you saved Sophie. You can do better if you choose to do it. And then he kills Marcos. Also, he just has exceptionally bad. Like, he gets kidnapped and tortured. His sister dies. And he's just like, fuck this. And then and plus the opportunity presented itself to him. So he's like, oh, fuck it. I'll kill him and be done with it.
So that doesn't really explain why you think he's broken. Why? Okay, be specific. Why do you feel sorry for him?
I really shouldn't. I don't know.
No,
I wonder if it's like the Deep. Like, I'll know he's the same. Like, you remember when we talked about the Deep, and you're like, you feel sorry for him because you know he's not gonna fucking change. And
but okay, slightly different context there. Deep is not the will.
No, he's not.
He's not the will at all. He's not. He is nowhere near as horrible a person. He's a very shallow person, a very vain person, and it's amazing how what little clicks in his brain. That's the thing about the Deep. Yeah, it's amazing. It's truly an amazing. Well, but that's part of his charm. It's part of why you forgive him so much.
I don't know if I forgive him, but I feel pity. I feel sorry.
No. See, you're more inclined to forgive the Deep over the well. And the reason why
the will like actively like murders people. So yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, it's a conscious. So yeah, they're not even on the same like level. I'm not saying the Deep is going to reform Although he is the one character I bet will live through the whole show. Everybody, right?
That would be hilarious if he survived. That would be
no,
so
it would be I'm telling
if
you
he
straight
lived through the whole thing.
No, I'm telling you straight up, as he currently is, that he's the one character that's got he's set. He will never change.
Yeah, I know. He's
right. Or if they do kill him, it will be something stupid, like something unbelievably stupid, because that's the only way to do it. Right. But he's not going to change the will. So we're gonna go back one more time. You need to be specific. Why do you feel sorry for the will? What is his appeal to you? Honestly, where's the connection?
Like, you mean just like deeper? Or you mean just like, hey, he has a cool little whip and he has a little he has this creepy
no. Because again, he's a monster, and he always was been a monster. The only time I really felt for him is when the Stalk got killed. That's when I felt for him, right? Every other time, I didn't really feel pity for him.
You didn't even feel sad when his sister got chomped, when Sweet
sister,
Boy died. Like, what's wrong with you?
Because his sister was trying to. His sister was trying to kill them too. So I kind of feel like the Stalk. I didn't feel sorry for either. I felt sorry for him when the Stalk died, because I kind of felt that she got a bit of a raw deal, but also just the fact that everybody loses something. I don't feel sorry for him, because here's the thing: he made Hazel lose somebody precious to her. He didn't have to. He did, and not just him, by the way. Also, Sir Robot, right? Killed him too.
Sir Robot, he's also just a mess.
But again, he was also somebody's dad, and that's the thing. This is a guy that
poor Squire so much he hasn't talked.
Which is the whole point. That's what the will has. So the will, knowing full well what the feeling of loss is inflicting it upon children. Not to mention the people he has killed.
To be honest, Josh, I don't know. I don't know why. It's just.
And that's fair. That's the honest answer.
What do you think? Because I have a feeling you're doing your old super villain. I know something he doesn't.
No, I'm look, we've had these conversations in the past. Snape, I know why you hated Snape. We're not going to talk about it on the air, because what I told you off the air, I know hit home. Right? So the thing is, and this goes back to something, there is a quality in the will that you connect to. And whatever that quality is, and that's fine. I think
I understand how, because there's this sense about the will that he kind of just he doesn't really enjoy what he does. Not really. You could say oh yeah, he's inflicting, and you're right. I'm not trying to defend the will here. But I think I understand that feeling, because it's almost like he feels lost. Every time you see him, he looks confused. He looks like he doesn't look like he really knows what he wants.
And that's fair. And now, honestly, that's his human qualities. There is no mustache twirling villain, right? There isn't.
And even when he kills it's not something he revels in. He's not haha, I have defeated you. I did it 35 minutes ago. None of that shit. He's just
No, but this is my whole point. We were talking about earlier on about how you felt bamboozled by the reveal of Snape, and you shouldn't have.
I didn't feel. I don't know if I felt bamboozled by the will, because I knew he would probably do something. Because I didn't ignore the whole Hazel saying what she did. I knew he was going to do something, but I felt dread once he did do it. I guess that's the emotion on that, because I'm it was kind of just no, don't do it, Will. Ah, he's just like,
Sure. But I'm bringing this. I'm bringing this to a point for a reason, and
and
that's
then
this.
he did it, and you're like, God damn it.
And
Well,
that's fine. That's fine. But here's my point. There is good stories. Everybody's a human being. Everybody. And the descent, and the thing is, there's a very, one of my favorite quotes is, you have to give up who you are at any moment. You have to be willing to get somewhere in life. You have to give up who you are for who you want to become. Okay? That can be very heroic. I can be more courageous, more empathetic, more kind, more giving. But I can go the other way too. I can be more ruthless. I can be more destructive. I could be more anything. I just have to give up the thing that's getting in my way of achieving that.
also it's also the will is kind of self-destruct. Not even kind of. He's very self-destructive.
Yes, he is.
Because
Incredibly self-destructive.
and that's also something I kind of, like I said, he's just a mess, and that doesn't justify him killing Mark, but I still feel bad for him. I'm like, he's almost like this. He's like this sad, broken boy who's just dragged around, And
but I don't feel sorry for him at all.
And that's fine. I get why you probably don't. You like, he killed Marco, that jerk.
No, that's not it. We all make our choices. It doesn't matter what we do in life. We make our choices. The life we live, and this is a hard thing for people to accept sometimes. The life we live is the life we want, even if we despise it, because at any point we can choose to walk away from it. You don't want to finish college because you hate the curriculum. Walk away if that's what you want. Now, you won't get that diploma, but that's not what it's about. It's about what you are willing to do to get to wherever it is you want to go, right? And this is the thing. Everybody, whether they realize it or not, lives deliberately. That's haunting, because the moment you acknowledge that point, you're responsible for all your actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what you're dealing with. It doesn't matter what your issues are. At some point, that like, you have to own that little truth. You are responsible for your own actions. That's it. That's all. And if you have that nailed down, you can move forward, right? And that's the whole thing. So I don't feel bad for the Will, because he has deliberately chosen his course of action, right? Of the two, I kind of feel bad for Lion Cat, but same thing. Lion Cat's choosing to stay there. Like that's the thing, right? Right? Same with everybody else that are doing what they're doing. Hazel's learning how to make her own choices in life. Alana, her choices, her life choices, right?
Also, he killed another one, because I really liked Marco.
Marco was a sweet, kind, caring person.
Like, he didn't deserve to go out. He didn't
no,
deserve to go
but
out
that's
like that.
No, but we don't control our ending. We don't. Like, that's so. I mean, you want to hear something that's going to sound really bleak, right? Chances are, when we walk away from this planet, it's going to hurt, because it hurt coming in. It's probably going to hurt coming out. So it's what you do in the meantime. That's it, right? It sounds like really cliche, but I mean,
I guess I'll ask you, like, why do you think I feel bad for the Will? Because you usually have interesting insights.
Because you yourself are trying to figure out what you want to do, and you kind of feel lost, and you probably have felt led around from time to time, and you kind of know what he feels like in that moment, in those moments, because he's being manipulated too. I mean, I'm not going to deny that, but at the same point, but the thing is, when you look at the characters, like, you're sympathetic with, all of the characters you're sympathetic or you despise with, I guess the question I would ask you is this: is there an idea you have of of what you could see. Do you see their potential, or do you see them for what they are? And if it's the idea of who they could be versus who they are, then what I think is what I think then to some degree is, and by the way, you're entitled to this. This is a story. You haven't, I would say to some degree, a romanticized idea of who the Will is, who Rorschach is, who Snape is, and the reality of it. I mean, being played out on. By the way, this is the good thing about fiction, right? It doesn't matter what book or series. Like, I love The Wheel of Time. My favorite character, right? My favorite characters in that series is, I love Matt. I think Matt's hilarious. I think Nina Eve is awesome. I can see why people think she's insufferable, but I actually enjoy her. She's oddly charming with her slow acceptance of who she is. It's like right? The fact that she enjoys being an Aes Sedai in spite of herself sometimes. I enjoy that little journey. But I can see why people would find her insufferable. I could see why people would find her I could see why people would be in.
I haven't read Wheel of Time.
Yeah, but I'm just. But again,
I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like I romanticize those characters.
Well, we all do. That's part. Like, here's the cool thing about stories. Okay, doesn't matter what the story is. By the way, show you what I'm reading right now. Fun.
Oh, the old dynamic duo, Bendis and Maleev. Oh, you stopped going for a minute. I can't hear you. All right, probably gonna have to cut this part out. I'm gonna go bathroom real quick. He said timeout, people. Let's see what he's got going.
Am I there?
Oh, okay. I can hear you now.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. Connection.
What?
Connection. So, going with what I was saying, right? Like, we all have this ability to romanticize characters, and it's part of the fun of fiction, right? That's part of the fun of fiction, right? But if you gravitate toward a certain kind of character, then you got to ask yourself why, right? Right? And are you looking at characters honestly at that point? Or by the way, there's nothing wrong with the answer either way. Because the thing is, and this is the important thing, once you read a story, it's no longer, when I put a story out there, it's no longer just my story. It's the audience's story.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to see whatever they want to see. And there's nothing I can do about that. And that's a good thing. They might see a better world than I imagined it. You might see a better version of those characters than I imagined them to be. It doesn't mean I'm more correct than you are. Right? That's the beautiful thing about fiction. Everybody can enjoy what they enjoy. Right? That's the whole fun of it.
I don't know. I guess I'm attracted to, like, it's like we've kind of talked about this before. I'm kind of attracted to I don't know if broken is the right word. Probably. I don't know. I like broken characters.
Oh, well, everybody's broken in some way, but these aren't just Canada ones. So.
No, I mean, it's, and to be honest, like with Snape, it's more just like
Oh, I know why Snape is. Whether you'll admit it to yourself or not is another thing. I know what the reaction was so visceral there. I put that together pretty hard.
No,
right?
No, I don't know. I remember you mentioned something. I kind of was like, yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. It's like, well, if if there's no hope for them, then what does that say about you? About the broken parts of yourself?
Well, Well, no. See,
Maybe that's why.
Well, no, Snape. No, Snape more than the other ones. You despised him, and I told you why you despised him. Right? You saw pieces of yourself, and you didn't like those pieces of yourself you saw in him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just didn't like him. And by you condemning him to such a degree you condemned him, you were actually kind of condemning yourself. I don't feel it's quite the same thing with Rorschach or the Will. I don't feel it's quite the same thing. But I feel it's there's, again, maybe there is a quality in them that you see in yourself. It's like that's irredeemable.
I know that just I've been I've done a lot of soul searching, Josh. You know this because we've had conversations of we've had soul searching conversations, and I'm like and I've realized at the end I'm like there's all those people who will make those clickbaity I can't stand them, admittedly, but I hate those clickbaity articles where it's like, oh, Rorschach's actually problematic. I'm like, yeah, I get that, all right. But at the end of the day, I know he is. And look, here's the thing. It makes me mad, but they're right, okay? I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying they're stupid. I'm not saying hashtag fake news. I'm saying, like, it feels kind of pedantic after a while. But what was my original point I was going to make? What was I saying?
You're talking about the relation. I mentioned something about relationships of characters. I guess how it's like, and then you went down this road. So I'm curious where you're going yourself.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember now. You know what I've learned recently. I'm like, you know what? I've realized that I'm just a human being at the end of the day, and you know what? I can still see the human being in those people, even sometimes if the author goes out of his way to show how awful and monstrous they are, like I can still see there's a person in there that is, and that's then to me that's great writing, but also I mean that shows you how you make a great character,
Yeah, like there are no mustache twirling villains, like there aren't. They're all human beings. Look, going back to the Hitler thing, even Hitler loved his dog.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's and people go, well, no. It's like there are human quality. Look, I can look at people I can't stand, and I can go, okay, why can't I stand them? Partly because I have this quality, and I don't like it, but it is part of my makeup. But the other part is, like sometimes what I personally stand for doesn't necessarily jive with certain things I see, and that's why I don't like those people too. So it's like, well, you don't stand for that, so I can't stand for you, and that's a but that doesn't mean that I can't look at them like.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can continue what you were saying, but I can't hold it in anymore. I'll be right back.
Okay. So while Britton goes and takes care of business, right? I'm going to say, folks, that everybody's a human being. You can disagree with people. You can agree with people, but at the end of the day, we all make a choice. We all make choices. And we got to live with ourselves because people are going to judge you sometimes. But remember, like in your own situation, you made the choices that were best for you. And 99.9% of the time, the people around you are doing the exact same thing. You don't have to agree with it. Probably shouldn't agree with it in some cases. But people make the choices they make for a reason. And if you understand those choices, again, it's harder to hate somebody you understand. So if you want to actually deal with some of the issues going on in the last few years, especially in terms of people you disagree with, understand why they think the way they do. It is one of the best ways to overcome it.
Yeah.
And we're back just in time. I just finished my little speech and diatribe.
No, but no, it's hard to say. It's hard because there's still a lot of things I don't know about myself. I am only 22 after all.
That's right, and and I'm 42. I'm 20 years older than you, dear God, and I'm still learning. You never stop. You never stop, and you change. You're gonna change when you getting towards your 30s. You're gonna change.
I don't mean to interrupt, but to be honest, going on a little. Well, I'm already being honest here, but I don't like those articles because it just feels pedantic after. Like it feels like I'm being talked down to, and I don't really like being talked down to.
But it's. I said this often. I said this while you were in the bathroom. Understand where they're coming from. Like, you have an emotional investment in the story, like you do, and because you have an emotional investment with the story, you're going to look at it through that lens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I have 12 rules to success. Do you know what? So the 9th rule is detach from all outcomes.
You have like Jordan Peterson, like 12 rules for life.
Kind of, but it's like these are these things I've learned, and these are the things I've learned in the last, like, just chasing my dreams. The one the pandemic taught me was rule 9: detach from all outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that to anyone listening, we all have ideas of how the world works, and we all on some level think we're right. But let's just be honest about it. That's human nature. But if you really want to understand, two parts of this. The first part is, if you really want to understand somebody else, take your part of the I'm correct. Let's do something really silly. For example, let's look at a flat earther, which I'm sure is gonna make you roll. You see that? You rolled your eyes, right there. You rolled your eyes right there, right?
You really went for the lowest common denominator, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I picked something completely non-political. If I wanted to go low LSD, I would have picked the political thing. Here's the thing. It's really easy to look at them and go, "Hey, that's crazy." And I literally interviewed somebody, a rocket scientist that actually does stuff in outer space, on my podcast.
Mm.
He hates the whole flat earthing thing. And
I wonder why.
Well, yeah, no, and I totally understand it, right? Considering what he does for a living, right? But there's another side to it too, and this is something I just have come, like, again, let's detach from that whole idea that they're crazy. Why do they think this way? Why do they think this way? Do you know?
Do you mean like is that like a rhetorical question, or
no, it's not. It's again, you're a journalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a journalist, you don't have the luxury of going, well, I shouldn't say that completely anymore. Depending on who you write for, you're not going to have the luxury of taking only one side of the argument and calling anybody that doesn't agree with that line of thinking a conspiracy theorist, crazy, sheeple, snowflake, whatever. Depending on which political bias you end up writing for, right, you'll probably get that really good journalism, really good understanding of the world goes, okay, we're not going to agree. That's not really the point of this. I just want to understand where you're coming from. Because if I can at least understand that, I might be able to do something about with this.
Well,
right?
What if they what if the because I did that little experiment the other day you told me to do about this was actually a few months ago.
Yes.
This was actually a few months ago. Because there are members of my family and they have some opinions and I'm like, it's kind of crazy. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take Josh's advice and finally just ask them why they believe what they do. And and when I asked, I'm just like, well, what if because I remember you also said sometimes the answer isn't gonna be like, sometimes the answer is just gonna. Mm-hmm. It's not gonna satisfy you. In other words. And I'm just like, well, what happens if they don't give you like an answer where you can just sit there and be like, you know what, I can understand why.
But does it tell you about them? Are they okay? This is what it comes down to. Are they self-aware enough to give you an answer? If the answer is no, which is what it sounds like what you got, it's like they're not self-aware enough to give you an answer why they feel the way they feel. then the conclusion you make is they don't know either. Well, you've just learned something.
It's kind of frustrating, though.
No, but a little, no, but
That's the thing, though.
but in that case, that was the way it worked out. Now, if you had asked somebody and they gave you an answer, like an answer that was clear and concise, you'd have a different opinion.
Like, I'm speaking figuratively, but here, basically, the answer she gave me was a literal, just like, all my sources, and she, like, pulled out a banana. She didn't literally do that, but it was literally like that. It was like, my sources told me, Britton. My sources with the banana. I'm just like, come on.
Okay, but, stupid. I mean, they're okay, but... Okay, this is
it wasn't really an answer. It was just kind of. It wasn't really like, okay, here's some
but
stuff
that
I looked
okay.
up.
So what is that? So when I talk politics to my friends in Canada,
oh dear,
it's yeah.
I was trying not to go there, but I guess we're already in it.
No, you walked in there.
I crossed the line.
You did. So
it wasn't even political. I was asking about, or well, okay,
yeah. Yeah. Yes, it was.
My aunt said some pretty strange things. Like she thinks there's a conspiracy. She thinks there's like Hollywood people who like are Satanists and like eat babies, which by the way is based on an anti-Semitic stereotype. But I won't go into that. And I'm like, and one night we were eating, and I just went like, you know what, Lisa? Or I just gave her name. I apologize if she watches this. So Aunt blank. Why do you think the way that you do? And she basically was just like, oh, well, I have my sources. I'm like, okay, what is that? And she basically, like, just showed me, like, some YouTube videos. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm not even going to entertain this anymore. That's going down a rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
No, and that's fair. Like, that's fair. But, like,
I don't know what that says about me. But I'm
not
a very good journalist by that point. But
No. You tried. Look. There's only so much you're gonna be able to do. Like that's the other thing too. No, I'm giving you an out, but I want to explain this. People feel the way they feel. That's why I really the one term I really hate today is the idea of my truth. Fuck that. My opinion. But here's why. But here's why. Because I've said this. Like the ideas of how we see the world are to shape the world we see. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, when I ask people where they're coming from, and I'll talk Canadian Friends of Politics, I have people that I have literally had people on my Facebook posts that go, if you support the right, you're or if you support this person, you're a racist. Mm-hmm. If you support this person, I've seen it the other way too. You're a blah blah. And here's the thing: what I realize is these are feelings-based things. So if anyone actually took the time to investigate what most of these gentlemen have done, and I don't care what party it is, you would conclude, like I conclude, that not one of them has a goddamn shred of integrity. And how we put up with this is something that is mind-boggling in of itself. But I realize that people pick people they like, not necessarily whether that person is good for them or not. Regardless, a lot of people that is as far as it goes, right? So when you figure out that you've hit that wall of, well, I picked this guy because the other guy did this, and this. And if you go to somebody, well, they did this, and this. How is that better? It ultimately comes down to, well, I just like these guys better than those guys. Which means, I mean, you're choosing how you're getting taken advantage of, I guess, for lack of a better word. And that's a bizarre relationship we have with our politicians today. Or we're looking for choosing how we're being abused.
I got a funny story for you the other day.
Sure.
So the other day, I was talking on my podcast with this lady from New Zealand. Her name's Derry. Very nice lady. And we were talking about the state of our nation. Not our nation, because she's from New Zealand. I'm from America. But she was basically like, you guys out in America, you guys are fucking insane. Like, that's what she said to me. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
wrong.
And I didn't even try to like refute her. I'm like, yep, you're about right. The other,
Yeah.
and then the other, and I brought up an example. There was a politician from my state who literally tried to pick a fight with the Teamsters president in the Senate. So I'm like, that's interesting. That's probably making us look worse right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about. I wouldn't worry about look how bad you look. That's overrated. But sure.
So then
Yeah.
I end up reading an article the other day. There was a staffer who decided it would be a really bright idea to record himself having sex with another man in the Senate. And I'm like, okay. Being gay, that's fine. Nothing against that. But give me some credit here, people. Common sense. Maybe, okay, don't have sex in public places. Don't have sex in Congress or the Senate or anywhere like that. And I texted her, I'm like, you were fucking right. We're fucking crazy.
We are.
We're fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's not a debate. Like that, like you can't.
No, I mean, my thought was, I'm like, yeah, I know, but like, it can't be that bad. Those were some famous last words, Josh, because I was punched in the mouth like a week later when I read that on Twitter. I'm like, fuck.
But that's the point, right? Like again, we have like when I told you to take that advice, the biggest thing you gotta look for is do people actually have a reason, like a legitimate reason, or is it just they're going off their feelings? If they're going off their feelings, you don't really have to say anything to them, right?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more to say, right? They're going off their feelings. Now, they're feeding me conspiracy, whatever the case may be. Well, okay. Sometimes you have to look at it. And I'm saying like that because how do you disarm a conspiracy theory?
Well, I don't know. Some pretty outlandish ones. Though, I will acknowledge there are the real ones, like Operation Mockingbird. That was a real thing. So,
yes.
I'm not going to pretend that they're all, like, fake. But when you use something like satanic actors eating babies, that's where I crossed the line. Okay?
Okay.
Also,
okay.
If you really want to go back to that, like I said earlier, there's also a little bit of racism in that. And that's not me just being a wokester.
No.
Okay? That is legitimate. They used to think back years ago that Jewish people would steal Christian babies and use their blood for rituals.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's literally what this satanic thing basically amounted to. I'm like, nope. Yep, I'm not touching that. Some
that's
radioactive
fair.
Material right there.
And that's fair. But where I'm coming from this is, it's very much a. Are people feeling it, or do people have reasons? And if people have reasons, even if you don't agree with them, okay. And this is the part where I say where you gotta be careful when someone uses the word conspiracy, because conspiracy puts people in a box. Sometimes unfairly, right? Sometimes unfairly, right? Sometimes very, very, very without any real scrutiny or pause. And if you talk things over, do they have a reason, or are they just feeling their way through things? Do they know anything of what the fuck they're talking about? Right? When you ask that question, right, you realize you came to your own conclusion that she doesn't know what she's talking about. That's fine. Now you know for sure.
I tried, John. I really tried.
No. But now you know for sure. Whereas before, you just judged.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I already suspected she probably didn't know, but no, I'll be fair. I did judge.
Yeah,
I'll give you
that. So that's the difference. You give people think of it like this: give people a little rope. They're going to do one of two things. They're either going to take it or they're going to hang themselves. Right? No, but this is it. Like,
Yeah.
let people tell you who they are. Don't make the assumption. Let people show you who they are.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
right.
It's an interesting time.
Yeah,
But,
that's it.
Yeah, that's all I really gotta say about that.
You're like, I don't want to talk about politics anymore. Let's go to something.
That's also part of it, yes. But
so
continue what you were gonna say.
Yeah, you're the host, so just you can direct this. No, and all I'm saying, folks, is when it comes to dealing with human beings as individuals, like we have shit. We all have ideas of how the world works, and we got to understand that we all have our biases. That all said, at the end of the day, you're going to come across people that believe in some incredibly weird shit. Some of it seems real. No, you are.
Oh,
and
I know.
And some of it is going to seem very out there. All I'm saying is, if you really want to dispel a conspiracy, the way to do it is to talk about it.
Yeah, I know. I remember what you said to me a while back. Another one of these where you were like, "Yo, you want to disprove a conspiracy? Just see what the fuck they're doing in Congress. Like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing." I've seen some clips of politicians saying some mind-numbingly awful, ridiculous stuff, and I point this out to like my mom. I'm like, "You really still think there's a conspiracy going on after you see this? Like seriously?"
Well, okay. Go back to what you're saying. To what you said earlier. Sometimes, sure. Sometimes you like you question its effectiveness considering what you've seen in there. Because let's be honest.
What to say? Like, some of them are fucking idiots, man.
Yeah, some of them. You look at them and you're like, "Wow, this is the hand you're playing with." Good God. Okay, I don't think I have anything to worry about. But I mean, but again, going back to what I said, like, if you really want to destroy a conspiracy, really talk about it. Mm-hmm. Don't be like one thing I'm really hoping in the next few years, because this would save a lot of grief, is having mature conversations about things we disagree with, and don't get into the petulant and get our feelings get in the way of friendships.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my hope going into the next few years. Because once upon a time, I realized this was almost before you were born, which is sad, but it's true. Almost before you're born, we actually could disagree about things and not hate each other for it.
Yeah. Though, I mean, I'll admit, Josh, I always get kind of, not mad, but I always get kind of like, is it though? Like, there's always been crazy people who
there was, but there was a point in time, and I blame my generation, and I also blame the generation before mine, because we were all idiots. I'm being honest. We let it get to a point that people became afraid to speak about things, and that is on us. And what I realize is, if I stand for anything that's worth anything in this world, I'm going to divide people.
Well, yeah,
and that's just the way it is. Now, the question is, we don't have to. But the thing is, I've also learned this too. We don't have to agree on everything. It shouldn't be. But again, people. This is why you have to ask these questions sometimes. Why do you think like this? I'm curious. And so sometimes no. Like with your family member,
my
right?
Yeah,
right. But this is why you have to do this sometimes. Do they have a point somewhere I'm missing? Or are they going completely by their feelings? And if they're going completely by their feelings, there's nothing you can do about it. You're just like, whatever, right?
Shake that off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it, right? But right? Uh-huh. And it's like at that point, like, I saw political meme up this morning. I was like, I almost responded to it, and I was just like, nope, doesn't make a difference, right? those feelings are set in stone. I can't change them. So why fight? Why bother? Right?
I mean, this has been great, but I guess we should move the conversation now because there are other things I wanted to talk about this evening.
Doesn't talk about them. You're the host.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm doing my host thing. I'm still figuring it out, Josh, as we're going along.
How many of these have you done?
What? I've got oh man, I'm almost at 50. Believe it or not.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. I'm shocked. I was like, oh man, it's. Ever since I started a booktube channel, that made it a lot easier to find guests. So that worked out well.
Yes. Yes. I'm at 1,029. You'll get there someday, buddy.
Dude, I would be very honored if I got to that, but we'll see. I can't even imagine at this point.
Trust me, I didn't either.
That same aunt, who I was telling you about, she told me the other day, she's like, I couldn't even imagine myself at 60. Like, that's me right now. I'm like, I can't even imagine going to 1,000 right now, where I'm at. No,
that's fair.
No, but, well, I did want to talk about some Christmas stuff, because...
Sure, let's talk about Christmas stuff.
It is Christmas. Josh, I know you have a bit of a beef with Christmas from some of our other chats that we've had. Yeah,
some of it's personal.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to dig too much into
Sure, I can.
But I did want to talk about just it was the Transmet conversation. We were it was
drink my urine.
You were all like, oh yeah, the Christmas one's my favorite because Spider was just shitting on Christmas, and I'm like, oh man. But yeah, no, you have a little. Why are you so Scroogey about Christmas, Josh?
Because I think a lot of people are fake about it. That's like honestly, when it comes right down to it, this is the one time of year I hear some people I never hear about any other time of year. It's not always a bad thing, but it's just the way it works out. But it's also I've been, so for me, a couple things. So I'll talk about some personal stuff. So bear with me for a few minutes here. My parents separated right around Christmas, actually.
Oh.
So yeah, I still remember this. I was 7 years old, and my mom. I'm not going to get into the details as to why the divorce happened. That's a long story.
Was it ugly?
It was very ugly.
I don't mean to get too personal, but was
no. It's ugly.
Just the way just the way you were talking about it, it sounded like it was an ugly.
Oh, very. No, it was brutal. Yeah, I heard and I heard things I never should have, but that's again neither here nor there. That's a long time ago. I still remember the last night I saw my mom for what would have to be a very long time in any real regular capacity, and her mom, her boyfriend, I guess at the time, and my sister dropped me off and didn't. I still remember this. My dad never got to say goodbye to. My dad never got to say goodbye to my sister. And I remember this. I still remember this, and because they were afraid, they used me to kind of distract that they were leaving, and mom's boyfriend was terrified of my dad, and understandably so. Again, I'm not going to get into all the details behind it, but yeah. Again, if you've gone to read between the lines, there, folks, you can.
No, but I was being facetious.
No. I'm just saying, folks, you want to read between the lines, you can. I'm not going to confirm or deny it, but that's your. What I will say is so there was that, and then so I remember that was a very unhappy time in my life that year, but also just I remember later when my sister and myself were regularly going back and forth with the grandparents, it was always a hassle. Christmas. The good thing that came from it for me was I've learned how to deal with hostile relationships in a room because of how I grew up. I I can get people in the same room that don't want to be in the same room together. And I know how to do it. I know how to do it in a way that I can keep all my friendships. I've learned how to do that. I learned it when I was a teenager. And it was always it was primarily because of Christmas every fucking year. And it was not, but
yeah, I remember my parents, because both of their parents, my grandparents, were divorced. So yeah, I've heard stories. You know, I remember my mom telling me she hates having to go back and forth between her dad and mom, and it made me really sad when I heard that.
Well, it's not even, it's so that part. It was just the whole.
Well,
process.
I know it's probably a little different in your case, but I just remember, from talking to my mom about it.
Yeah. But I mean, like, this is what I grew up with. Like, this is every Christmas. Now that and also and the other part of it too is, like, okay, this time of year is the hardest time to do anything. Like, it really, really is. So, I look at all of these things, all these factors, and it's never been one of my now. If I someday have kids and like, I'm never going to be the guy that's going to wear the ugly sweaters and have the giant ass. I might have the giant ass tree for the kids for the kids, but I'm never going to be that guy. I'm never going to be looking at
You're not gonna be Jack Skellington, is that it? Like,
yeah, I'm going to be very much. I mean, I'll play along. I play along for my kids, but again, for me, the best thing about Christmas, when as hectic as it was, is the ability to see my family. And when I don't get that opportunity, it can be one of the most depressing times of the year for a lot of people too, and I can see why. Because it's like this period where nothing's going on, and nothing really starts happening again until January. So like pretty much from this point until the rest of the year, like, I've done interviews for my podcast for the year. I have one more episode I'm posting up because of Buddy's Kickstarter, but I'm not really doing anything again until New Year's because there's no point really.
Same here, yeah. This is actually my last one of the year. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So my last one was actually yesterday. I interviewed somebody at a Second Cup Coffee in Calgary, an agent, and we bullshitted about stuff like for a good hour, and then we talked for another hour after we were done because she's awesome, and that was a good conversation. But that's it. Like, there's no other. Like, I got some stuff after Christmas a little bit, but it's not. I've never been a fan of the holiday because for me it has been nothing but a hassle, right? And nothing but a hassle. And some of my worst moments in my life have been that time of year, right? So that's the personal reason, and those are the real. And again, I'm not saying like for anyone listening to this or watching this, if you love the holidays, there's nothing wrong with loving the holidays. Enjoy them.
The holidays. That's it's kind of bummed when you were like, I don't love Christmas so much.
But there are things about it I like. Like, my favorite Christmas carol of all time is Little Drummer Boy. It's the coolest gift exchange ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Do you realize that until I said it, that it actually is a gift exchange?
Oh, I didn't realize that. No.
Okay, so
I remember the old stop motion animation because I grew up at the like bare end of the VHS era. So
so it's actually in the song itself. A lot of people don't realize that, and that's why it's my favorite song. It's about a drummer boy that has nothing to give. So he goes to this baby. Hey, listen, I'm going to play for you. This is all I got. Right? So he plays his best. So the baby gives him a gift too. His smile. What else can the baby give to the drummer boy at that moment in time? Nothing. Just a smile. So I realized that both of them in that one moment, right? The king of Israel and the drummer boy were in the exact same boat. And I thought that and then when I realized that, I was like, that's actually a really cool song.
You mentioned you mentioned earlier you didn't love the you said like the fakery or whatever, and that reminds me of one of my favorite Christmas stories, which is A Charlie Brown Christmas.
That's an oldie. Oh my God, is that old?
I love it. I love it. It's great. I mean, if you have depression, like I happen to do, sometimes it gets not great during the holiday season, or not during the holiday, just during this time when like
No, it's one of the hardest times here.
And like I just you're more prone to it, so I definitely understand how Charlie Brown feels. I love the Peanuts a lot, and I know how Charlie Brown feels, so there you
go. My favorite Christmas cartoon of all time is Pinky and the Brain.
I've never actually seen Animaniacs or Pinky and the Brain.
Oh my God. So Pinky and the Brain is the best Christmas story I've ever seen. I'm not even joking.
What is it? I'm Pinky and Brain Christmas?
Yes. But here's the thing. So it's a very typical plot, right? Pinky and the Brain are trying to take over the world because they want to do, right?
Pinky, I know,
so the Brain comes
what they are. Like, I know he's like,
you shush. Story time, right? So Pinky and the Brain go infiltrate the North Pole. Okay, this is important, so that they can mass produce this toy that will hypnotize the whole world into obeying Brain's commands. Pinky writes a letter to Santa and wants to give it to Santa for Christmas. So they do this plan, and they actually disguise themselves as reindeer. It's one of those really it's wild. It is wild. Okay, now, but Pinky forgets to get the letter.
Oh.
Good. No. So this is great. He's so upset that eventually Brain is about to succeed. By the way, all the toys are delivered. He's about to hit the button, and everybody's going to be like his slaves. He's like, give me that stupid fucking but not quite that in this verbiage. Yeah. Give me that letter. Like, it makes Pinky cry. And Pinky leaves. So while this plan's in motion, okay, Brain says, okay, what's in this letter? I gotta know, right? This goes back to what I said earlier about understanding where the person's coming from. So this is a great example. So he reads it. Dear Santa, right? Narf, like that as Pinky does, goes, this year I don't want anything for me, but rather for my friend, the Brain. So the Brain's just starting to go, wait, what? Like, surprise. Listen, I know he tries really, really hard to do what he does, but he never, ever works. And I know that's got to be hard on him. So for this Christmas, could you let Brain's wish come true? And it does. He wins, but he's in tears because his best friend, the person that loves him the most, just wanted him to succeed for Christmas.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Also kind of disturbing.
but no, but I mean, it's such a, like, again, it's a very human thing. You watch your friend try and try, let him win just once, and he wins. But he's so overcome with emotion because his best friend wants the best for him. And this is something that's like so real. He goes on with the one command to make them understand. Instead, he goes, everybody have a Merry Christmas, and just tears up and breaks the machine. He got both wishes came true. And right, Brain won. But what makes it really good is what makes it really, 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 really good is what Brain really wants is not the world, but to be appreciated. And he got that. His best friend appreciates him. And that meant more to him than the world. I thought that was that's why it's my favorite.
That sounds really good.
You watch it. It's silly. It's absurd. But when you get to that scene, it is so wow. It's touching. It's legitimately touching.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought you were gonna say The Grinch because I know you love Dr. Seuss a lot.
I do still no. Pinky and the Brain's better. Is a better Christmas. Doctor is a better Christmas story, and I will fight anybody on that. I will fight anyone on that.
I also really love the old, because my parents, they maybe watch, or they didn't make me, but they had me watch a lot of older stuff when I was growing up. So,
sure.
I watched the old Rudolph and the Frosty cartoon and the really weird Santa one with those what are those? The elementals, like Mr. Frost and Mr. Heat or something, and it's really weird.
I don't recall that one, so it sounds like that's a good thing. Okay, I
It's really
remember.
bizarre. Little Drummer Boy, and yeah, no, my favorite's still Charlie Brown Christmas. Also,
That's okay.
I love the music as well. I love
The music's really cool. The music's really cool in there.
I also love A
But
Christmas Carol, but then again, I like Charles Dickens in general. So I've only read the
Christmas
music
Carol
books.
is good. No, I love the old cartoon of it. I think the old cartoon's amazing.
Which one? Because there's been so many.
It was around when I was a kid, so let's say the 80s. So it's a really good. What?
Is it the Disney one? Where Scrooge McDuck is Scrooge?
No.
Oh.
It's not Scrooge. It's not Muppets. Although Muppets is a very close second. The actual cartoon's really good. So I don't know if I could find it if I look for. I'm pretty sure I could find it if I looked for it. But yeah, it's one of those. That one touched even straight laced Dickens. That Christmas Carol is really good. Like even straight laced. But Muppet Christmas Carol is my best, is my favorite. If you're going to do a comedy version of it, Muppet Christmas Carol is my favorite.
Yeah, no, I actually watched it a few years ago. I'm like, man, Michael Caine really, he was really good, and a lot better than I thought he would be. Because
no, Muppets, man, were talented. Like was a cool show. I found someone that really hated the whole puppet thing. I found that out like one of my last interviews. Like, I hate the puppets. Okay, that's strange, but okay, I won't hold it against you much. But she's 10, so what? I guess it's fair. She can fear puppets. So
I don't hate puppets. I just didn't grow up with the Muppets.
Love the music, and I think Muppets have one of the best message for the arts. Period. Actually.
Mm-hmm.
So. What do you think is what do you think why I'm going to say is the best message for the arts?
I'm actually not sure. I kind of want to hear what you got to say.
Nobody's good at their job in the Muppets. Nobody.
Yeah. God. My favorite's actually Beaker and his little like the little guy, whatever his name is. I forget his name. Man, they're funny. I love them.
No, but none of them are good at their job.
No.
but here's the real thing. I think this is the coolest thing. So it goes back to my drawing thing. So what if you suck? Have fun. They have fun. Every time they got together, they had fun. Yeah. And that's what makes it work. That's literally the secret sauce of the Muppets. They had fun.
Yeah, no, it's I guess I was gonna ask what's some of your favorite Christmas things, but you kind of just said it. So yeah,
I said some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, you said some of them. I also what's another one I really like? To be honest, well, I've been honest here. I don't know why I say to be honest, because I could go on a tangent, but I won't go there. But I've never really cared for Elf. Did you ever see Elf?
I can see why you wouldn't care about it.
It's a solid film, just not a Will Ferrell fan.
I like Will Ferrell when he acts more seriously.
Didn't you say you like oh damn it, what's that movie where he's being narrated?
Stranger Than Fiction?
Yeah, that one.
Stranger Than Fiction. Yeah, I did. I like that one a lot. Thing is, so once you see Will Ferrell as Frank the Tank, and I don't care whether it's Frank the Tank or Elf or any other version of that character, he's essentially the same one-note hit in his movies when he's the star. He's also, I gotta say, he's a great Zoolander villain. I really enjoyed him. I really enjoyed him as a Zoolander villain. But as a hero, like when he's actually doing drama, he shows his range. He's actually a really good actor. As when he's doing his comedic stuff, listen, I enjoyed Frank the Tank the first time I saw it, right?
I don't think I saw.
right. Or the other guys, but you know what? He's the same guy. He's
Like
this
for instance,
mild.
I'm not a fan of Step Brothers. Like Tropic Thunder and Superbad are way better like raunchy comedies than that film. At least
Yeah,
in my opinion. Fucking
and
love Superbad. And Tropic
that's
Thunder.
fair. That's fair. Zoolander has grown on me the older I get. So
Yeah, and that's another one. I'm like, man, this is stupid. I can't do it. But I can't help but laugh at it. I'm just like, man.
because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing in that, right? They know it's
That
silly
gas.
and stupid.
My favorite scene is the gas
The
station.
gas.
The gas fight. It's so fucking ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Yes, it is. It's like, oh, this is not going to end well. But like, that's the whole point, right? And then the weird orgy with the midget is kind of in there too. It's like, what the hell did I just walk into? But what I'm getting at is, yes. So Will Ferrell, when he's not the star or when he's doing a more dramatic role, shows more range. And
he was pretty good in the Lego movie. I liked him a lot in the Lego movie.
Again, he's a voice actor, so that there's a little bit more range there, right? So
yeah.
So again, if you look at Elf, if you look at the other guys, is another good example of this, right? Like I enjoy the fact
I
that
do
Sammy,
like the other guys a bit. That's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine.
I thoroughly enjoy that Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock killed themselves within like 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, so that's my favorite. He's like, aim for the bushes. Oh my god. I'm just like,
yeah, and they jump and they just literally die. They kill themselves. And like,
I remember when I first saw it, I'm like, did that just happen? Like, is that seriously? Like, that's how they went out? So I was sort of bad. I was kind of expecting they'd like pop in and like, oh, we faked our death or something stupid like that, but nope.
No, they were really. That's. I mean, you knew they were stupid because I mean, look at the first 5 minutes of the movie, right? They're doing all that for a marijuana bust.
Yeah, it's so bad.
yeah, and I mean that's the whole thing on purpose. But Will Ferrell's the same character, almost like he was in Elf, and same character he was in like some of the other stuff he's done. He's this reserved, shy guy that secretly has a past, right?
I was about to say, I don't know. I was about to say he's a little more reserved than the other guys, because like in like Elf, he's like this kind of man.
But he's not. He is until you get to the very end, when you start seeing him when you actually find out he was a pimp.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
I do like that scene where he's like, "Dude, you were a pimp." He's like, "What? No." Like,
no. That's the thing. Like once you found out that he was a pimp, right? And he said he was no longer just that guy. He was also Gator.
Yeah. Oh god.
Right. And he just and the joke in there is like he could get beautiful women to do whatever he wanted anytime he wanted to. It was just like, how do you do that? His partner's like, I'm cooler than you. I know I'm cooler than you. And it's like, no, you're not. Like that's the whole point. Right? He's secretly like this like he's secretly a gangster. Just you just don't know it. It's the truth. Right?
Yeah, God. I kind of it's like in terms of action comedies, I would say like Hot Fuzz and Tropic Thunder are like way better than
Tropic Thunder. I think the other guys is just okay. It has its moments, but it's just okay, right?
Yeah.
And that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
I agree with you. I generally I agree with you on that.
Yeah. So it's just okay. Tropic Thunder is fun. My guilty pleasure. Ben Stiller is my guilty pleasure actor. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's what he is. He is my guilty pleasure actor. Zoolander, Dodgeball.
Fucking love. Oh, dude, you can't just say that film's okay. I fucking love Dodgeball. It's so stupid, but I love it.
Okay, I will say this. The other one that's kind of grown. The Will Ferrell movies that have grown on me as I've gotten older is Anchorman.
Yeah, Anchorman's funny.
Yes, Anchorman's is a hilarious spoof of the news, and it's going to stay a comedy, unlike The Network, which came out in the 70s as a comedy and is no longer quite as funny as it was, because literally came true, and that's oddly depressing. So
Yeah, no, but no, I'm not. Yeah, Will Ferrell though, not a huge fan. Like, there's more of a Robin Williams. I like Robin Williams a lot.
I just watched Robin Williams do Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, no, he's great. I actually rewatched Good Will Hunting the other day. I'm like, damn, that's a great film.
Fantastic actor, very good comedian. A little structurally speaking, as a comedian, he didn't have the structure, but he was just so
naturally funny. He was just like,
well, no, he was so he was so and he was charismatic. So even when he lost the plot sometimes, right, he was still really, really good, and that's what made him special, and that's why people like him.
Also, rewatched Dead Poets Society. I fucking love that movie too.
So I'm actually gonna finally get really far into this. That's my goal for the holidays.
Oh, did you watch the time travel one? Did you watch White Tulip?
No, I'm not. Dude, I only have time. I only have so much time. I own those. I'm gonna watch those.
It's like the best episode of the series of Fringe.
I'm literally on the first season right now. Oh. So I'm going. Oh, okay. So I'm going again. Britton, I'm not cruel. I'm know. Like this. There's three. I was able to watch
back
3
in
shows.
April you were watching Fringe, so I thought by now you'd have seen the second.
No,
season.
I've been busy making. Dude, okay, I did 100 episodes this year. Right. I did 100 episodes, over 100 episodes of this podcast. 130 is about what I've done. I've done 130, 132, something like that. Okay. I wrote a novel this year. I released all kinds of stuff. And I did a video series for a client, plus everything else, all the other crazy shit I do. When do I have time for this?
I don't know. I thought you would have found time. Don't get mad at me.
No, television's not that important to me, Britton. It's just not. I have to think it's important to find the time. This is the time of year I have the time. So it's going to be between that and playing Persona 5 The Royal, because I'm enjoying that.
Yeah. I've actually been it's been interesting. I've been reading. I read a lot this year, and I'm actually quite proud of myself because.
How many books did you read?
I kept track of my Goodreads because I'm really weird about. I like making lists. Okay, I don't know why.
No, it's okay. I have my list on BookBub, so most of my lists on BookBub.
81, and if I finish Mr. Timothy, 82. So yeah, I had probably my best reading year I've had in a long time. Because
that's really good.
2020 sucked because COVID, and also I got really depressed during that time, so I didn't get a lot of reading done. 2021 was better, but I hit it again. It was just kind of like a what the hell year. 2022, I got back on track, and 2023, well, I started a BookTube channel, so that helped a lot.
I have read approximately. I'm looking at the list right now. I've read approximately 35 books this year.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah. I'm finishing Shades of Earth right now by Beth Revis. I have a buddy. I'm going to try to read at least one. I'm going to try to finish Victoria Aveyard's series. I finished her main series, the Red Queen series. Now I have the short story collection to work on. Mm-hmm. So there's that. And I also want to try to get one more indie book up. It's going to probably be Troll by Logan McNair. Because I have most of my lists on BookBub. Any book that is on BookBub, I reviewed it. Right? But not all the books I read were on BookBub. Thing about reading indie is sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. And
I just use Goodreads because I'm basic. I don't know.
No, that's what. Listen, that's okay. I'm not gonna hold where you review shit against you. We all have our spots. I thought BookBub was a cool place to do it. I got to read some Brandon Sanderson this year. I got to read some Christopher Paolini this year. I got to read some Marissa Mayer, Alana Andrews for the bigger bestseller ones. And I've been reading some other ones here and then some indie ones. Like one of my favorites I read this year was Lucy Letner's Bad Vibrations. That was super fun, kind of funny.
I was gonna ask what was your favorite. What was some of your favorite reads this year? Because I'm actually going to be making a video about my favorite reads, and there were a good couple I really enjoyed. So
I don't know what my favorite. I don't know what my favorite comic this year is going to be yet. I know one of them because of the backstory behind it. So when I did San Diego as my personal highlight for the year in terms of things I accomplished this year, that's really cool. Is I made San Diego Comic-Con as a professional. That's a pretty good highlight. Yeah, I did San Diego for a week. So I mean, that. Yeah. So I did San Diego for a week. That was fun. That was phenomenal, right? That was huge. So anyway, I go into so there's a couple of books I really enjoyed. One of them was a Jack the Ripper kind of thing. Did Jack the Ripper, what if Jack the Ripper met Billy the Kid? It's actually a really good read. It was really, really good read. Nicholas Stone, I gotta look at the credits at some point. But yeah, that was probably my favorite thing this year in terms of graphic novels. But in terms of manga, Spy X Family was far and away my favorite thing I read this year.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. My funnily enough, my favorite comic that I read this year was a manga. It was manga. I don't know how it's freaking pronounced.
Yeah.
Pluto from Naoki Urasawa. Thought it was brilliant. And
cool.
I'll admit, Josh, you can like rabble at me, but I'm a little picky with manga. I'll admit. And I know, I can hear the comments now. I read superhero comics, okay? So where do I have to judge? But I have to admit, manga can be freaking goofy. Like for real.
Yeah. But sometimes that's the point.
Another level that I can't even, like, there's too much goofy sometimes that I
see you haven't. This is where I know you haven't matured. You see, because goofy rules. Because here's the thing. What I've learned is I've appreciated like so one of my favorite comics in the last 10 years is Axe Cop.
Oh, have you ever heard of it? I've seen the animated show of this. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So world class animator. Kid brother narrates the story. Okay? Seriously, that's the whole caveat of the book, okay? It's silly. On purpose. Like, on purpose silly. Right? If it's on purpose, I'm in. Spy X Family is silly on purpose. Okay? Lloyd, main character, Agent Quad, he's a spy. Okay, well trained. He's that spy you've always imagined that could kick everybody's ass and chew bubblegum. He has to go undercover and choose a family. Here's who he chooses: Yor, who dresses like and kills like a Black Widow. She's an assassin. Her redeeming quality is she's actually completely innocent, like legitimately, like an innocent assassin. I never thought I'd see it. It's silly. It works. And then they have the kid they get is a telepath who, so she's the only one that kind of knows what's going on. And she gets confused by what she gets from the adults, but she's also becoming more like both of them. It's hysterical. Right. And that's the thing, right? She reads minds sometimes and sometimes messes some things up. She's like getting too much. They also have a dog that can see the future. One of my favorite like one-shot episodes is the dog actually snuck out of the house to go on an adventure with Lloyd because he had a vision of eating Yor's cooking and dying from it, legitimately dying from it. So he literally bailed before that could happen. So see, it's silly on purpose. And because it's so silly, and the best part is those rare moments when it's serious is genuinely touching.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so silly. Here's the thing. I like silly as I've got. I
know you like silly, Josh.
But okay. But I had this. I'm going to finish this. I had this conversation with the agent yesterday about where I want to see where I can see my career. I want to be like Ray Bradbury, C.S. Lewis, and Terry Pratchett.
Still need to read Pratchett.
You have, but if you can't handle, you've never read Pratchett. Okay, so I will hold that.
I don't know where to start with Pratchett. I've had some people tell me.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold it against you until you do. That's kind of that has to be on your list next year. You must read something of his.
I do
Okay.
have guards on my list. I do hope to read that.
No, that's good. That's a good one. That is a very good one. Although it's not the one I would start with. So okay.
I'm giving up with Discworld at this point.
No. So do you want the guide to Discworld right now? Because I can give you the guide to Discworld. It depends on who you like.
Okay? All right. Well, I mean, shoot, man.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're gonna read Rincewind, you have to read him first, and there's a reason for that. Because after you read him once, you never have to read him again. He is the one-note character in the entire series. Okay, he's the one-note character, but if you read the other ones before going back to him, you will have zero chance to enjoy him. If you're going to enjoy it, you have to read Rincewind first. The Color of Magic is his first book. That's one. It should be either the first or second book you read. Okay?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Write this down because I'm not quite done. There's a list of these things. It's a list.
Oh, hell.
So you get to choose your own adventure after the first one.
I don't have a paper right now. I don't have any paper here. Let me go on my
You got a computer, right? Go open up Notepad. Come on, man. Suck this up. Okay. So
Discworld. I'll just do it on my phone because
yeah.
computer's
Okay,
occupied right now.
Okay, so Discworld, here's the deal, right? So what you want to do is there are six main characters, okay, to go with. So if you're gonna read Rincewind, it has to be that one first.
I do want to read about death.
That's coming. Hear me again. I'm gonna give you the list. We're gonna go. Okay. Actually, guards could be is one of the past. You can actually go that way too if you want. That one will work. Okay. That's the City Watch. It's fantastic. Okay. So for death, the first one you want to read there is Mort.
That's what I've heard.
Death is
yeah.
Okay, so Mort's what you want to read there. I would recommend though the one that I really enjoyed the most. I have to admit is Granny Weatherwax, and that's Equal Rights. Okay.
That's the book, Equal Rights.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
So those are the big four. And when I say that, they're the big four. You read Rincewind early. It can be one or two, but you have to read him early. Because after you read the other three, you're not going to want to go back to him. And I understand why.
Okay.
I'm just telling you straight up. Like that's what's going to happen. Right? And then after that, it's just following the order from there, right? But right, because each character, they don't show up in every book, right? So you have to kind of pretty much figure this out, right? My favorite one is The Truth, which is the 25th book in the series, but you got to read those ones first before you get there.
Yeah, I know there's like splinter offs. Oh God.
No, absolutely, right?
There's mini-series within the series. I'm just like, oh man.
No, it's not mini-series within the series. It's just that every single one of these, okay, has their own. There's 41 books in the series, okay. It's 41 books, okay, but Rincewind's a one-note character. You're not there's only one other Rincewind story in my opinion worth reading beyond the first one, and that's Eric, right? But that's up to you. That is up to you. You will find there are some amazing stories inside. Like my favorite death one is the Christmas one, actually, Hogfather. It's hilarious.
Yeah, not right? The one about the assassins.
It's City Watch.
Oh.
So I mean, it goes all over the place, right? But those are the big four. So choose your own. I would say read Color of Magic first, get it over with. And I say it like that because you'll understand when you get to the rest of the series, right?
What, does the Color of Magic suck?
Rincewind a one-note character. Like once you read, like okay, once the joke is told, you'll be like ha 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 the first time. Then you read The Light Fantastic, you're like, oh wait, it's the same joke. Ha 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 ha. And then you realize, shit, this is how he got his big break. He has to write Rincewind every so often. Fuck. And that's literally what you're gonna say. Fuck.
No.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have Pratchett next year because I do have guards on my again one of my
Yep.
lists.
That can be your second. That can be your second book or in the series if you want it to be. Because I think you will enjoy the Night Watch. The Night Watch are hilarious. They are very, very funny. And
yeah, no, it's I also haven't read. I know this might hurt you, Josh, but I haven't actually read The Wheel of Time. And
that doesn't hurt me.
I know you really love The Wheel of Time though.
I do because it's my first fantasy series.
So it's I read Malazan. I haven't read the thick boys. Like I haven't read like the real long series.
So you gotta try one. You have to try one of them.
I did First Law. I read The Gentleman Bastards this year, which I enjoyed both quite a lot because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go all over the place. Like I said, I know what my career arc in fiction is going to be. I'm going to be Ray Bradbury, C.S. Lewis, and Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, no.
Because I'd like to think I can write funny. I like to think I can. So.
Yeah, no. Pratchett is another one of those. I just didn't know where to start. So there you go.
There you go. You got 4. Choose your adventure.
Yeah, no. It's Yeah, no, and also I really like Douglas Adams, so I'm like, oh man, it's just gonna be discount Douglas Adams. This isn't gonna be fun anymore.
Well, no. It's not discount Douglas Adams at all.
Well, that's good. That's what I've heard the fans say. So we'll see.
No, it's not. Like I'm straight up telling you, it's not. It's Pratchett is his own beast.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, no, I don't really have anything else to say. I just haven't read Discworld yet.
That's okay. Like I said, I've had this conversation before. Like, order matters. Like when you read certain things, matter.
Like there's other fantasy I want to try in it. Like I'm hoping to read Gormenghast next year.
Okay.
And Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell next year.
That's a fantastic book. That's fantastic.
I'm gonna do On London next year, which is
which is China Miéville, who's one of your favorite authors.
He's jumped up there. Yeah, he's jumped up there. He's because 2 years I discovered him in 2022, and I'm like, yep, this guy's I love it.
I'm going to be reading hopefully a little bit more Jay Kristoff.
I've heard he's a bit I've heard he's a bit divisive, but we'll see.
That's okay. Divisive's fun. I'm in there. I'm in.
I'm just saying I've heard that. I mean, I don't know what you think, but
yeah. At this point in my life, if someone said I've hit that point, is this person's offensive? Really? What's why? Why is he so offensive? Because at this point, it's we've taken that. We're not gonna go back to that conversation, but we've taken that to a whole.
There's a book called the Tower of Babel series I want to try next year.
That's a good one from what I've heard.
Josiah Bancroft. I'm really interested in trying that because it sounds like something I would like.
That's fun.
Oh, what else? There's a lot of stuff I want to read next year. Like, my God.
I'm going to read more Kim Harrison next year. She's really good. I'm going to be reading more Paulini. I want to get Rebecca Roanhorse.
Again, I don't know. I've seen some of your Goodreads ratings. I know you're a bit more lenient on Paolini than I am, but I've just never really jived with. I'm sure you've heard this before. He's like, dude, it's literally just Star Wars with fucking Lord of the Rings on it. Like, come on.
See, I can't really So I got paid to do an essay about Pellini's series a long time ago. Can't comment anything negative about Pellini ever. I got paid and royalties on a regular basis, so
I
I
know,
can't.
I know. It's just kind of like, man, this is gonna be weird now. This is not weird, but it's just
But
like,
no. But the thing is, it is Star Wars esque for sure. But it's actually a different. It's actually a different realm. Well, the essay I wrote actually, I in one sense I regret writing that essay. It has ruined so many stories for me writing that essay, because in writing that essay I learned an awful lot about fiction in general, not just Paolini. And Paolini isn't the only person hacking from an old concept. I
oh, I
actually
won't
traced the
pretend he's
origin.
the first, but I just found it was so blatant. I just couldn't get into it.
He's not actually stealing from Star Wars. He's stealing from what Star Wars stole from. So, and once I figured out what that is, I can now look at almost anything in fiction and see
Well,
the
yeah, okay.
pattern.
Everything's stolen from. Okay, like I get that. I'm not saying it's not true. It's
Do,
just
do, 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 do you know where Star Wars comes from?
yeah. Flash Gordon, Joseph Campbell, old pulp
Okay, well,
serials,
stay on the Joseph Campbell road. Where does Joseph Campbell's stuff come from?
mythology. Like what do
Somewhat.
you want? What do you want? What do you want me to say? Like Carl, like most of his stuff is from the research of mythology that he did.
Some of it, and then there's the other half of that. So what so folks, if you don't want your stories ruined, don't actually look this up. Just don't. It'll ruin it.
I
It
still
ruins
enjoy
everything.
stories. Like
No. No, I enjoy them, but it's harder to be fooled. You understand the trick. So Chrétien de Troyes wrote a story back in the 1100s about Percival.
the King
And
Arthur character.
King Arthur character. That is the basis of pretty much every hero's journey is Percival. All of them. Star Wars, Aragon, Spider-Man, you name it, they all come from that. All of them.
I guess I'll have to read that then because I do love Spider-Man.
No, you'll see it. Like the connections there are undeniable. It's stronger. It's stronger than, because then you see it. You will see Star Wars. You'll see Star Wars even in a different light too, because it'll show you like the big themes and conflicts. The hero's journey is ultimately a story about family. Ultimately,
I thought it was a story about
right?
finding yourself.
But no, it's that's family's a big part of that. Where you come from is a big part of who you are, right? And that's the whole journey of it. Is that's the whole journey of it. Is your family like is your biggest thing, and the fact of the matter is, every like Spider-Man, like his biggest crime is against his own family. Same with Percival. Same with Aragon. Same with Luke. Same with Darth Vader. Every hero goes through the same issues. And once you see that, you're like, oh,
Well, that's what
this
makes
makes
it
sense.
timeless. Really.
But yeah, there's a reason why it works. And that's the thing. Like Aragon is no different. I mean, considering how young he was when he wrote that, he did really good. Like that's how I look at it. Like he did really
How
good.
young who was?
Paolini, he was a teenager when he started writing it.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, that's what I
He was
find
a
interesting.
teenager.
That's what I find interesting. You know, I'm actually friends with him on my Goodreads, so it's kind of
Cool.
awkward. I'm like, oh man,
Have you
just
read a science? Have you read To Sleep in the Sea of Stars?
not yet, but
He that was fun. That was very, very fun. I did not expect it. He did something incredibly cool in there that like I popped a little bit about. It's like it made me go, okay, that's good. That's actually really, really funny.
no, but it's just kind of because I sent him because it was one of those things where
Yeah,
you gonna the jump down the rabbit hole. It's just kind of like, you know what? I'll send him one just to see if he'll do anything, right?
sure you will.
And he did, and I'm like, well, shit, what am I gonna do now? That was just kind of because I wasn't expecting he was gonna fucking Yeah.
Say hello. See what happens.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that someday. I don't know. I'll be like, don't take
Why
this the
not do it?
awkward way, but I kind of like, eh. Now it could be interesting talking to him though. Be like, hey, you were a teenager when you wrote this stuff. Like, how'd that go? That must have been wild.
Yes, I gotta love it. So I think we should close this chat with a fun story. How about this? So I got my podcast, ladies and gentlemen, got nominated for the Aurora Award way back.
Oh yeah, it did. I remember
and
that.
it won. The weekend it won. I ended up putting on a pin to a gentleman by the name of Spider Robinson. Now, anyone that doesn't know, so I did that. It was me. It was almost by design, but we'll leave that for another day. I go to his Beatles concert that night. He actually did a Beatles concert, and I was supposed to be interviewing the author of the big author there. And that author had a really bad weekend. Some of it, he was a bit of a dick to, a bit of a douchey. He blew me off, which was kind of douchey. But in fairness to him, he had a rough weekend. I can't say I'm entirely I'm not entirely.
You don't entirely blame him.
No, the show, one of the biggest things the show messed up was they didn't actually carry his books there, so he couldn't sign anything.
Ouch.
Which was weird. Yeah, long story. Anyway,
I see.
Yeah, so I'm in the hotel, and this is the awards day, and I happen to see Spider Robinson checking out.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, fuck it. Well, the worst he can say is no. So I go up to Spider. I help him out with his directions he was looking for. I saw the opportunity. And I asked him, would you like to come on my show? He gave me his phone number. He gave me his email. And it's one of my favorite conversations I've ever had. To say to you, the lesson there to you, Britton, is this. Don't be afraid to say hi and let's see where it takes you. You might feel awkward about it at first.
Yeah.
But the guy's a dude. Just like anybody else. He might have a sports team he really likes. He might have I don't know. Maybe he enjoys the same books you do. Maybe he has maybe he has the same love affair with Snape you do. Maybe he thinks the will is redeemed.
So that's a toxic relationship, Josh. Like, let me tell
no, listen. I'm just throwing it to you. Like, we're not that different. Like, no matter like where you are in the totem pole. Look, I had Marissa Mayer the year prior, just towards the end of last year.
Yeah. I thought you said Mercer. You said Maria.
No.
Or Marissa?
No, Marissa Mayer. Okay. Look her up. You can also recommend read her books sometime. They're really good. But the thing is, we ended up talking about siblings for a good chunk of our conversation because we both have family and we both know what that relationship's like. We're not that different at the end of the day, Britton Summers. You should go with your friends.
Yeah, but then I know. It's just, I guess it's just kind of like when you're not as much of an admirer of his content, that might be a little weird, at least to me. But maybe that could be an interesting conversation. I'm not going to say I'm against it. It was just kind of...
Well, but you can criticize the work. Be specific.
Fair enough.
That's it. Don't just go, it's a Star Wars ripoff. Why do you feel that way? And again, this is just me doing this. Just telling you, right? You can be critical. Be specific, right? If you're specific, he'll be receptive. If you say the same thing everybody else has said, he's just gonna roll. He's just gonna be like this.
Hey, he has every right to do that. I could tell that. I wouldn't be offended if he did that. Like, I'd be like, he's not gonna listen. He's the one who's fucking laughing going to the bank. All right, like I'm no.
Oh yeah, but again, there is such a thing as an appreciating refreshing honesty.
Yeah.
There is. So just do it in a way that isn't like generic. right? Don't be generic in your criticisms. Be specific. It goes up. People will respect it even if they don't agree with it. So, and who knows? Again, you might find out you have the same toxic relationships with characters that you have, and then suddenly you're friends for life. Who knows?
No, it's.
I ended up. Another fun story. I had Fonda Lee on my show.
I wanna read her Jade because like I'm on BookTube, right, and that's like a popular series on like my part of the web. So
No, it's a fantastic series. She's a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan.
Oh yeah.
So, and I know this because I introduced her a few years back. She was like, we were talking about like fun stories, and she goes, I mentioned Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Her response to me was, hey, wait, what? They have a Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? So I sent her a link on Amazon to the graphic novel of that. I was her enabler. I have to, and that's a so that's the thing. So this is the thing. Like, we're all human beings at the end of the day. So treat human beings like human beings, and you will be surprised at the friendships you can form.
Yeah, I mean, I will say about Paolini, I think it's interesting that he likes Gormenghast a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe that could be an in if I ever do talk to him.
Just say hi, Britton.
Just say
hi. Just say hi and see what happens.
Yeah, no, yeah, I had a other thing I wanted to end it on, but you know, I guess we can.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, you're the host. We gotta wrap this up soon, but I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about, and then we can wrap up there.
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
I know it's we faked you out, haha. M. Night Shyamalan. Okay, okay. But you know, we were talking the other night about you know, because I was like, you know, Josh, I remember you told me on a podcast, another one of these things, that you know, if you're gonna write, like, have clarity, and I'm like, oh, okay, what does that mean? And then you were like, well, you know what you care about, right? And, you know, I thought about it, and I texted you the other night about that, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is. Does that mean I should just not write at all? And you're like, no. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, you know, and it kind of clicked to me the other day. I'm like, you know, what are the, you know, because I think about the stories I've come up with that I hope to do at some point, because you know I haven't done them yet, but there is a lot still left. And you know, I realized I found a common thread through all of them. You know, it's about. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the grand thing, like, I really care about. It's ultimately, like, when I think about it, it's about finding light in darkness.
Okay.
You know, there's that line from Paradise Lost. I forget what it is. It's like, it's long and torturous up to light or something like that. I can't remember it at the moment. Forgive me.
Okay.
But...
No worries.
You know, I kind of, you know, I realized that, you know, I like darker things. And I don't know what that says about me, but I do.
So,
which is kind of hilarious that we're friends, cuz you like more like goofy stuff. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, but I like dark stuff too.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course. I don't want to put you in a box, but you know, you tend to like, you know.
Oh yeah, at this point in my life, I thoroughly enjoy the goofy shit. Like, I'm unapologetic about that, right?
Well, so yeah, no, it's just kind of like, I don't know, you know, I feel, you know, it's kind of like, you know, I'm a little more broody than you are. I've noticed.
Yeah, but that's because, again, partly it's just where we're at in life too. I've been around 20 years longer, right? I still like you know, I still like darker undertone. Humor usually it comes on from a source of darkness.
Well, yeah.
Right? Yeah, it usually does. Like, okay. You read my scene at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I did.
It made you laugh.
Yes, it
right?
Did. Yeah.
It was pretty, but think about what I was describing there. I did it in a very fun way.
It was ultimately a shitty bar, is what it was.
Yeah. A very, very shitty bar. A very dark and disturbing place that somehow existed in spite of itself.
But the point I was gonna make is you know, I've noticed in a lot of because I've noticed a lot of lamentate. There's a lot of cynicism nowadays, and there's a lot of there's a lot of just grim, or they call it grim dark now. Apparently, there's like this new trend in fantasy called grim dark, which is just fucking like it's a nonsense word. That's my hot take for the day. But you know what I've realized that what I'm interested in is, you know, like, where is the hope in all of that? You know, that's what I'm interested in. That, you know, we can. What's that Dumbledore said? You can find the light even in the darkest of times, but you just need to know where to open the door. And I'm like, you know what? That I think that might be it. It might be. Because that's what I care about, you know. I've gone through a lot of dark things in my life. And I know some people are going to be like, "How soul of us all, Britton." But I think that I think it's important to find a reason to keep going, to find the hope to keep going. Because if we don't have that, then like what the fuck are we going to do? Like what is the point of getting up every day?
See, you're a man looking for hope.
Yes. Exactly. That's exactly it, John.
That's that. There's nothing wrong with that, man. I think.
And I've noticed a lot of my characters are also looking for that thing. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what? Maybe that's it. I should have seen it earlier. But there you go.
Hope is good, man. Look, that piece of the novel I sent you is really ultimately about falling in love and the fears that come with it. That's what the story is. Like,
I mean, you know this, Josh. I am hard on myself, so there you go. I'm sometimes ruthlessly hard on myself, probably to the point where it's absurd. But it's just it.
Join the club. I like this novel I wrote. Like I said, it's my fear of falling in love. But the best stories are the ones things I care about right now. And for me, it's about, you know, where I am and where I want to go, and what does happiness look like. And the reason why I think I'm gravitating towards sillier stuff is because sillier stuff doesn't try to pretend it's anything but what it is. Right? And there's something honest and authentic about it. And that's why I like it. Right? Yeah. Doesn't try to be something it's not.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's just kind of, you know, because I like darker. Like, I don't mind, like, bleak stories. Like, you know, some of my favorite stories happen to have really dark stuff that's really, like you're just like, damn, dude, what's wrong with you? But
I look forward to when you finish your journey and become the optimist you've always wanted to be.
I look forward to that day.
Yes.
But yeah, it was like a eureka the other day. I was like, yeah, I'll tell Josh that. It'll be on our thing. It'll be great.
Sure.
But yeah, there you go. So what do you think, Josh? Is that good?
It's good to have hope. It's good to have hope.
Good to have hope.
So then here's my wish for you for the holidays. It's probably our last chat until next year sometime. May you have a wonderful holiday. May you find it easier to find the good in things. And may next year, if I get another, and this is my here's my hope, next year, I look forward to reading more of your stuff now that you've learned a little bit, because now I think I'm looking forward to it. Right. Yeah, I look forward to it. So, you know, I'll hopefully have some news for my next releases myself, you know, and then go from there. And so maybe get to where we want to go, and maybe somewhere in time next year, meet up. I'd like to do that.
I keep telling you, I'm like, hey, if you're in the Oklahoma City area, like hit me up. We'll do something.
I will.
But
I will.
Josh, thank you so much for coming on as always. And if you have any, as always, share your stuff, man. Like,
so right this minute, I am completing a podcast course, and anybody that's doing this will go, well, why? Especially someone like Brent, why would I take this course? You learn confidence. a lot of creatives are very shy when it comes to promoting their own stuff. I've talked to thousands of people, and one of the things I've encouraged people to do is to tell their own story. And when you do a podcast of some kind, you learn how to tell your story better. And that is something I'm doing. I have 8 modules I'm giving people right before Christmas. If they get signed up now, they're going to see the first 2 modules before the rest of the course unveils in the new year. It's 8 modules, everything from basic stuff, what they do to put a show. But since I've also produced shows for other clients as well, I can show you how to actually build a show from scratch and how to do it for other people. So the course is available on my website, jpantalleresco.wordpress.com, the podcast course. I will actually send, and just do this right now, to Mr. Britton, as
I
he
will
will have
it to when I put it up on Christmas Day, so
Yep.
next Monday.
Okay, so if you are watching this on Christmas Day, it is going to be on discount until the new year. I am charging $300 for the course if you do it before New Year's. After New Year's, it's going to go up to $400, and that's where it's going to stay.
That's how much money I gave you when you did my book.
Yeah, and you know this, like next time I get something like that, it's not going to be $400. It's going to be a lot more money.
I remember you were just like, I'm throwing the freaking book at you. I'm like, all right.
No, no. I told you 2 things. If you ever get a draft like that from you again, I'm going to charge you what I would really charge for it. I gave you a discount. I gave you a discount.
But Josh, thank you so much for coming on and spending Christmas here. Well, it's not Christmas yet. It's in 5 days from the recording. But Merry Christmas, Josh. And I know it has some. It sounds like you've had a hard time, but let me tell you right now, have a good Christmas, my friend. Really do.
I will. You take care of yourself, man.
All right. All right. Last one of the year. Went well.
Good.